All right, good evening and welcome to the Friday edition of FSU Weather, our last sunset over Doak Campbell Stadium for the semester. It's in the fall semester, and then we're going into ending daylight savings come Monday. So Doak Campbell Stadium looking nice, and the last sunset we'll get to see on FSU Weather for quite a few months until the spring. 76 degrees right now at Doak Campbell Stadium with sunny winds at about 7 miles per hour. And across the area, seeing the mid to low 70s. 71 in Valdosta, 76 in Tallahassee, and 75 over in Perry. Out to the I-75 corridor, we're seeing a couple of sprinkles work their way through, but they're pretty isolated in nature, and up in the capital region, not seeing too much in way of storms. So on tonight's episode of FSU Weather, what are we going to talk about? Well, if you woke up early the last few days, you've noticed it's been a little chilly. Then we've kind of gotten on the warmer side. But how long will this pattern last? How long are we going to stay on the cool side? Drought conditions across not just Florida, but across the whole country. We'll talk on that. And then we'll be going back into standard time this weekend. All that tonight on FSU Weather.
Yeah, we definitely have a great show for you here tonight. It's going to be really nice out. We're having very seasonable weather, but we're going to warm up as we go into next week for sure.
I've been enjoying this weather somewhat because it's been nice and cool in the mornings, but at the same time you're kind of putting on the hoodie, you're putting on those extra layers. Then by lunchtime, you're wanting to be in a t-shirt and you're kind of stuck because you've been out all day and not really a good situation to be in.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And as you get into next week, you will at least have to only wear one outfit during the day, but it's just a little bit too warm for this time of the year is the only problem.
Yeah, but as I mentioned, we are going to be going back an hour come Sunday, so 1 less hour of sleep, 1 less hour to study for classes. So keep that in mind as we go into the weekend, that 1 less hour to study for your classes. So for those professors that are saying you need to study 10 hours a week, well, you're going to lose an hour, so you got to make up for the extra hours somewhere.
Yeah, hopefully at least you're not studying in the middle of the night, Saturday night, because that doesn't sound like the funnest thing. But
2
obviously
a.m. study
sometimes you have
session
to.
is...
Sometimes, yeah, depending on what class you're taking, it could sometimes be a necessity, unfortunately, for sure. But I'm going to take us over to the wall now, where we're looking at our live cams at the moment. You're looking at sunny skies all over the viewing area at the moment. You're talking about the sunset in Thomasville. You can easily see where the sun is right now. You're about to go beneath the tree line. You don't have any clouds in Thomasville, and you don't have any clouds really anywhere except for St. Mark's as you head further south. And it's going to be pretty nice, pretty much area-wide. But taking a look around the area right now, we're looking at 76 here in Tallahassee. It's warm, and it's going to get really warm as we head into next week. So today's going to actually be one of the cooler evenings. You're missing some data in some areas, but you can easily tell from the temperatures around the area. It's going to be in the low to mid 70s. Not too much of a difference anywhere. Dealing with a bit of a breeze up here in Bainbridge, Thomasville, Donaldsonville, really southern Georgia. The closer you get to the coast, you're missing some data, but the numbers do get a little bit lower. You're talking about only a 5-mile-per-hour wind speed in Apalachicola, which isn't going to be too noticeable. But taking a look at our dew points, you're talking about 52-degree dew point in Tallahassee, not as bone dry as it was on Wednesday and Thursday, but you're still talking about pretty dry air. The further northwest you head up toward Donaldsonville, it's really dry up here. But as you head to the south and east, you can see these greens. These darker greens are where we had a few scattered showers this afternoon, especially along the east coast of Florida, because we were having a mini nor'easter. And you even had some rain showers in that area where there was more moisture and higher dew points. And looking at our local radar, you can even see that right now. They're not going to make it too much further than this. They absolutely won't make it to Tallahassee, but if you know anyone in the Lake City area, this is where the light showers are at this point, pretty much between Lake City and Gainesville, and they're not going to make it too much further. They probably won't even make it to the west coast of Florida, and they certainly won't make it here. Area-wide, you're talking about, by tomorrow afternoon, there's not a cloud in the sky anywhere in the viewing area, but we're not going to really see any clouds in the sky anywhere today, anywhere tomorrow, anywhere Sunday for Tallahassee. You'd have to go to the peninsula if you even want to see clouds. It's going to stay dry, so if you're going out to College Town tonight, today's a great Friday evening to do so. It's not going to be super cold, a little bit chilly, but you're not going to have to deal with anything in the way of precipitation. If you're still going to be out at 3 in the morning, it's going to be 57. So definitely make sure if you get chilly in that temperature to dress for that. Tomorrow, it's a great morning to go hiking. It may actually get a little bit warm by the afternoon if you're going to be in the direct sunlight at 77 degrees. That can be a little bit warm to hike in, but it's going to be nice. And we're going to see Chandler's dog Storm right here. It's a pretty cute dog, and if it's a good time to walk the dog, is going to be probably between 8 and 11, because you head later in the day, it's going to warm up significantly. But as we talk, the next 2 days are going to be our coolest days, but then we're really going to warm up next week, potentially near record temperatures by the end of next week on Thursday and Friday. But now I'm going to pass things off to Aaron.
Thanks, Nico. And 84 degrees there next week. That is a scorcher, especially this time of year here across Tallahassee. But enough of that. We'll actually look at our beautiful skies here across the state of Florida here. So Panama City right behind my shoulder here with the sun beautiful in the sky there. Same story as well for Fort Myers. Actually, almost looks like kind of a copy and paste there between Fort Myers and Panama City. But again, these are pretty far relatively away from each other. So that kind of shows you that we have nice weather across the entire state. Orlando, West Palm Beach have a little more in the way of cloud cover, and they are both sitting in the middle to upper 70s respectively, as we have a little bit more in the way of cloud cover in those regions. So current temps across the area, we have mid-70s across the Panhandle and I-10 corridor, reaching all the way through near Jacksonville. Jacksonville's actually a little bit cooler there with that rain-cooled 65 degrees right now. As you make your way further to the south, Tampa 78 degrees, Orlando 74, and then down through the rest of South Florida and the Keys, we're sitting in the upper 80s to lower, upper 70s to lower 80s. Current temps right now we have, or current dew points, we have that more drier air off to the north and west. We have that more muggier air down to the south and east. We have that more summer-like conditions there with 70 as the dew point in Key West. Upper level water vapor, we have drier in place for right now, which is why we have those sunnier conditions, especially across Panama City. We have not a lot in the way of moisture helping with those cloud cover or any kind of cloud today. A little bit of a different story here as you make your way over to Jacksonville. We have that more rain-induced showers and more moisture up in the upper levels of the atmosphere, which helping to produce those showers. Pretty similar story as well as you make your way down to Miami over towards the Keys as well. In time here, we expect those shower activity to eventually die down over as we lose the daytime heating. Tonight should remain relatively cloud-free and shower-free across the state. Or into your day tomorrow and into Sunday, we should expect those conditions to relatively stay really nice and sunny outside. Future temperatures are going to show those temperatures dropping down into the middle 50s across northwest Florida. As you make your way down to the west coast of Florida, maybe a little bit cooler than if you go off to the east, as we have that more easterly conditions off the Atlantic, which is actually going to help keep things a little bit more moist and warmer on the east coast of Florida. And then tomorrow we have those conditions rising up into the upper 70s to low 80s. Probably it's tough for me to say tonight. And then we have those perhaps some showers making their way off the Atlantic tomorrow and into tomorrow night. And then future temperatures after that, for the most part, pretty much a repeat rinse of today and tomorrow over the next several days or so. Weekend forecast across West Palm Beach, lower 80s today, eventually at least for the rest of the weekend. Orlando, very similar story. As you make your way over towards Panama City, Florida here, a beautiful sunshine expected Saturday, Sunday, even into Monday. Perhaps we might see a few upper level clouds coming in as we have that eventual weather pattern change here across much of the northern part of the U.S. But what is going on for us in the southeast, Elizabeth?
So, as we saw across the whole state of Florida, we have a lot of varying weather going on. In the northern part of the state, we're sitting cooler. In the lower part of the state, we're sitting warmer, but we are going to see lots of cooler conditions. I'm like halfway on this screen. Lots of cooler conditions for the rest of the southeast. So right now, very cool as well. Our warmest spot here with our cameras is in Monroe, which is at 73 right now, 66 in Nashville, 61 in Charlotte, and 61 in Birmingham right now. So the rest of the current temperatures mainly sitting in the mid to upper 60s and some places in the lower 70s. So we have 73 in Shreveport, 68 in Little Rock, 65 in Charleston, and 64 in Atlanta right now. And those dew points are not really going to warm us up at all. So we are sitting very dry as well. See these light greens and the light greens and the browns in the northern part of of the region. We have a dew point of 21 in Nashville, a dew point of 20 in Charlotte, 32 in Atlanta, and 31 in Jackson right now, so very dry and also not as warm right now as well, and dry as well as rain goes as well. We have a few showers off of the East Coast right here, but those really aren't going to provide any of that rain that we need. Overall, also very dry across the rest of the Southeast, and it is going to look like that for the next few days. We could see some showers move in as we head into Sunday, which is the day that we are going to fall back with daylight savings. One of them are going to be ending. I don't know off the top of my head, but a little bit of rain and clouds as we head into Sunday, but not much as we can see on the rainfall forecast. Just this little corner in northwest part of the region right there. And the future temperatures, we will sit pretty cool overnight tonight. Lots of places in the low to mid 40s, even 36 in Charlotte as we head into Saturday morning. A warmer day on Saturday, but again, mainly temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, as well as more of the same for our Sunday morning, but mainly in the upper 40s, and same thing for Sunday in the mid to upper 70s. And so for the weekend forecast, we're going to be sitting in the lower 70s for our highs in Charlotte, lower 70s for our highs in Nashville. Until we get to Monday, we'll get to warm up a little bit. And the same thing in Birmingham. We're going to warm up into the upper 70s as we head into Monday. The same thing in Monroe as well. So nationally, do we have anything exciting to discuss?
Well, we are falling back, and we've got the Google version of what falling back means, because none of us have been able to figure out what falling back means. Hi, I'm a giant now. Hi. All right, there we go. Now you can actually see me on screen, all right? Hey, there we go. For those of you that don't know how green screen works, heights need to be adjusted for different size people. I'm just naturally tall. Okay, daylight savings is happening Sunday. At 2 a.m., our clocks go back to 1 a.m., and then time marches on, because time just does that. Across the country, we're seeing in the south more comfortable. We saw a cold front move through that's really brought cooler temperatures to the southeast. Now we're starting to bring that high pressure back and warm back up. 70s across Louisiana and Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. And then Arizona also staying on the warm side, New Mexico as well, into the 70s, 77 in El Paso, 71 across California, in Los Angeles, up to 74 in San Francisco. It's really as we get further to the north that we really start to get cold. Seattle in the 50s, and then Bismarck, you're seeing at 27 degrees. That's quite frigid for this time of year. 54 over in Chicago, and 46 in New York and Boston, where the sun's already set, and we're going to start to, get earlier sunsets. That's how daylight savings apparently works, according to Google. Current fall foliage, we've got most of the U.S. past its peak. It's just kind of the more southern part of the U.S. that's seeing the more moderate foliage, not quite to its peak yet, just kind of starting to get there. And over the next 7 days, not a ton of change, just more of the country kind of getting to that past peak. For watches and warnings, we've got a couple air quality alerts and wind advisories, but for the most part, the whole U.S. is staying pretty clear. It's really just this low pressure system up over Missouri into the Dakotas that's bringing some showers and storms into Iowa and Illinois, and then a couple just fronts stalled out, but for the most part, high pressure dominating and just keeping the entire country clear. There are a couple coastal showers off the northwest coast. Seattle really going to be getting most of our rainfall as we head into the weekend, and that's going to start to work its way into Montana. Maybe a couple light snow showers working its way near the Canadian border, but nothing super bad. And rainfall-wise, most of the U.S. staying dry as we move into the weekend. So taking a look at the drought monitor, a lot of us need that rainfall, as especially parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, into Alabama seeing more of a severe drought, and future temperatures are going to keep us more on the cooler side as we move into the overnight hours tonight. 29 over in Minneapolis, 30 in Bismarck, 45 in Salt Lake City, 60s in San Francisco, 78 down in Miami, 54 here in Tallahassee, and 35 over in Charlotte. As day breaks and we get a little bit warmer, 70s return to the southeast, staying cool up in the north, especially near Bismarck and Minneapolis, 50s in Chicago, 60s in New York. And then as we move into the day on Sunday, again, kind of a rinse and repeat, we are going to see daybreak just a little bit later because the sun is going to rise about an hour later. 59 degrees in Dallas, 55 in Oklahoma City, 50s already hitting the map in California, 60 over in Boise come Sunday afternoon as we're starting to wind down the weekend and get ready for another work week. So taking a look across the U.S., Boston, Massachusetts, you're going to be staying in the 50s, upper 50s for Saturday and Sunday, dipping down into the low 50s come Monday. Chicago, I know the Bears are out of town this weekend, but 55 on Saturday, 57 on Sunday. Rain chances are going to stay on the lower side, but 60s, upper 60s comes Monday, and then Saturday and Sunday over in Houston, Texas, where I think there is football this weekend, 80s for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then Denver, Colorado, you saw snow earlier. Well, that snow is gone now. 76 degrees comes Sunday. In San Francisco, you're sitting nice as well, 60s into the weekend. Nico, or who is next? Elizabeth, you're next. All right.
Okay, nice look across the country. Our major airports, I'm warning you, I'm going to be half on the screen again. Hello. So major airports, no delays to discuss there, as well as locally. Right now it is 72 at the Tallahassee airport right now. No delays are likely, 60 degrees overnight by midnight, and we'll see 54 by the morning. A beautiful day for driving as well for tomorrow. It'll be nice to drive with those windows down. By late morning, we'll be sitting at 66, and our high will be at 4 p.m. at 78 degrees, and then by sunset, 76 for the rest of the day for tomorrow. But if you are heading out to the beach, it will be nice. It might be a little bit chilly as we head closer to the coast, but it'll be sunny, and we'll see our temperatures in the 70s at Panama City Beach, and winds will be out of the northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. So tomorrow at 3:30, our number 4 FSU football team will be at Pitt. It is going to be a little cloudy tomorrow, but not too bad as far as rain goes. Nothing to worry about there. And then by kickoff, it'll be 61 degrees. So if you are in Pittsburgh for that, might need to bring a light jacket unless you are from up there, which you might be used to that, unlike us from Florida. So our stargazing for tomorrow night, it'll be clear, a little chilly, a low of a 59 overnight, but very nice stargazing conditions. It'll be our waning gibbous, and our sunrise will be at 6:55 a.m. And our Sunday morning church forecast also very nice. We'll see a large jump, though, from 7 to 11 a.m. It'll be 50 degrees by the time we wake up, to 72 by the time you might be getting out of church. And our Sunday picnic forecast, of course, as we've been seeing over the past few weeks, another very nice day on Sunday. We'll be reaching 84 degrees. So although that is nice outside, it might be a little warm for what you think of for the beginning of November. And our number 1 Florida ladies, our Florida State soccer team is going to be at Clemson at noon on Sunday. A very nice day there as well. No clouds or rain to really be discussed, and our temperatures will stay in the mid to upper 60s for that game. And so for the rest of the weekend in Tallahassee, very nice. We'll start to warm up as we head into the middle of the week on Monday to 80 degrees. But we have some fun things that are going on this weekend, right?
Right, we do have some fun things going on this weekend here across town. So as we bring things back over to Tallahassee, we're here to kind of mid-break to kind of show you exactly what is going on across town. Is that right, Elizabeth?
Yes, of course. So we have our first thing, which is from the 3rd to the 4th. So it's still going on today, and it's going to be going on tomorrow. It's the Florida Seafood Festival in downtown Apalachicola from 10 to 10:30. Lots of yummy seafood. I enjoy seafood. I don't know if you enjoy seafood.
I actually really love seafood.
Okay.
It's the favorite thing back home I always get is seafood.
Oh, yes.
Restaurants,
I love it. It's going to be very good. I hope everyone
Now, bear with me, folks. The 11th annual Pista Sa Nayan Filipino Festival on November 4th from 10 to 4:30 p.m. here across Tallahassee at Clement Plaza. That's downtown Tallahassee. It's near, I believe was it Monroe? Oh, wait, hold on a minute. It's Brunel Street there.
Yes.
So come enjoy this free event filled with martial arts, dance performances, as well as Filipino cuisine. And honest, I haven't had much in the way of Filipino cuisine, but I heard it's delicious.
No, I haven't either, but it does sound good, and this sounds like a very fun event for some new cultural things and things like that. So also tomorrow from 12 to 5 is the FAMULI, I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, the FAMULI Harvest Fest. So they'll be having lots of things about some sustainable agriculture to immerse yourself in all things agroecology. I never heard of that word.
Never heard of either. Actually, I just got it. Family, like family.
Yeah,
Family,
I kind of
family,
figured that
yeah.
was, but I didn't really know how to say it that well.
Yeah. And also, don't forget the Bradley's Family Fun Day on November 18th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So not this, today's the 3rd. So not this weekend, in about another couple weeks or so. Don't forget to visit the Bradley's Country Store at 10,655 Centerville Road, Tallahassee. Let your kids enjoy pony rides and a petting zoo. Who can have a little petting zoo, right?
I think I might have to go for the petting zoo.
Yeah.
I enjoy a horseback ride and a petting zoo.
Well, there you go. You might need to go on November 13th.
Yes,
then.
I will be there. So if anybody wants to come, I'll be there too. And then we have our holiday countdowns. We are 8 days away from Veterans Day, which is our next day off of school. Thank goodness, I'm so happy for that. 20 days until Thanksgiving and 51 days till Christmas Eve. I am so excited for Christmas.
I am too. Yes, we have the holiday countdown here on FSU Weather. And stay tuned as we'll go live throughout the rest of the semester here on FSU Weather through Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, and then all the way up to just before Christmas.
Yes, it's going to be a good time for that. So now it is getting close to the holidays, which means lots of new climate to talk about.
That's right, but not really reflective on this climate map here, or climate chart, I should say, with the calendar here, where we have actually just 1 day above average here at 14 days. I should say, yeah, 14 days above average here, 13 below. Speaking of below here, let me jump down below the screen here. All right, so so here we have 4 normal days, 13 below and 14 above. We actually ended the day here on Friday here actually below average, so that's good news, at least going into November. Unfortunately, as we'll show in just a minute, it might not be below forever here. And temperature almanac for today here, we hit 78 degrees as our high here at Tallahassee, low of 53. So actually had quite a crisp morning that actually warmed up into the 70s. So actually wasn't a terrible day today, and actually not very far away from our average high and low, both sitting 2 degrees above the average high and low. So just about near normal where we should be. And thank goodness, at least so far, knock on wood, right? We're not near 88 degrees here, as we saw back in 2016, or down to 29 degrees below freezing here in 1954. So our future temperature, maximum temperature anomalies here, we have, for the most part, that warm-up coming up behind a moderating air mass as we have that cool down we had earlier this week. Eventually, that will come to fruition through much of Thursday of next week, until perhaps we might be talking about another cold front coming in later, but again, that's over a week away, and we have to kind of watch to play how the models come into play here over the next several weeks or days to week or so. But overall, we're on that warming trend for the next several days or so. And that's reflective here on the Climate Prediction Center's 6 to 10 day outlook here. As we have, statistically, we have a better chance for seeing above average temperature anomalies here. So likely above average here, especially across the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. And then at least the week after that here, we have still staying relatively above average. Maybe not as much, but still on the touch warmer side here. For October rainfall departure, ooh, look at this graphic here, really fancy. So we have that temperature departure here below normal as we get to about the 11th and 12th of last month, but then we had that day where we actually had quite a bit of rainfall here, and we actually went above average. So unfortunately, we're falling back to below average as we go towards the start of November, so we have to watch over the next several days or so how that works out. We have that abnormally dry conditions across much of the Big Bend here. It actually gets worse as you make your way over towards much of the Panhandle, so Panama City in that moderate risk, and then even further west here, that red bullseye just above near Defuniak Springs off towards the west here, we have that extreme drought in effect. But as we zoom out to show the rest of the regional drought, it gets worse from there. Unfortunately, we have that I don't know if you call it a bullseye, but that definitely have more droughtier conditions, that's a word, more dry conditions across Louisiana and Mississippi. But overall, over the next several days or so, several weeks or so, we should expect more in the way of rainfall coming in across the south and more north, or I should say more dry to the north, as you're making your way off to the north, as you actually would typically see more in an El Nino year. So actually, quite an interesting factoid as we do eventually go towards our local close segment. Is that right, Nico?
Thank you, Aaron. And luckily, hopefully we won't have to deal with the drought as much longer if we actually get the rain, but we'll have to look at the models. I'm going to be looking at them tonight. But currently, we're not seeing anything within the next few days or at this moment that's going to help with these drought conditions in the south or in Tallahassee. 76, it's completely sunny outside right now. It's the last day I could say that because we fall back on Sunday, so on Monday it's going to be clear because the sun is already going to be set before we go on air on Monday. But taking a look at our temperatures, it's nice. And then our wind speeds, breezy in Georgia, but as you get into Florida, the wind speeds definitely quiet down a bit. You're not really going to notice too much of a breeze, especially the closer you are to the coast, because when it gets cool like this, you can't get as much of an ocean breeze, which is why you're talking about only 5 miles an hour. You're talking about some areas with even no wind right now, calm winds right now in Sumatra. Our dew points, however, you can see they're still higher to the further east. It looks like Monticello may have gotten their dew point fixed because it's not 10 degrees warmer than everyone else in Monticello like it has been. But as you go to the east, you can see these darker shades of green, which is where you're dealing with moisture conditions and more humid conditions. As a result of that, you can see a few isolated showers. These don't even look like they're going to make it all the way to the coast. They're not going to last more than a couple minutes if you do get hit by one, and they're not going to be too impactful with them being pretty light in intensity. As you look at your future satellite and radar, those showers die out, and then we're dealing with clouds early tomorrow in the peninsula, and after that, you're not going to even see a cloud in the sky anywhere in Florida really for the rest of the weekend unless you go way down to the Keys. Looking here in Tallahassee, we're not going to see any clouds for the next 48 hours. And if you're going to be going out tonight, it's going to be a clear night. If we can get radiational cooling, it will cool off a little bit more than this, but it won't be as cool as Thursday morning regardless. The chilliest of the air mass has gone by now, and our winds are going to be a little bit less breezy. It shouldn't be horrible, but it's going to be a bit chilly. If you do not like the chilly weather, definitely wear a jacket. As we head into tomorrow, it's a great day to be outside. Just don't do something too strenuous when it's 78 because you can still get hot and sweaty when it's 78. If you want to do something strenuous earlier in the day, if you're doing something not super strenuous late in the day, 78 degrees is a pretty nice temperature to be out. And Saturday night, maybe with a little bit less breeze, maybe more radiational cooling will take effect. We should see upper 40s. It's not going to be horrible on Saturday night, but it's going to be a little bit chilly if you're going to be out after midnight. So definitely make sure to be aware of that and pack a jacket. You have to study this weekend. If you're going to be out on the patio studying on Sunday, it's going to be a nice day. It's going to be warm, but you're going to fall back as we head into Sunday evening, so you're not going to have that sunlight at 6 p.m. As we take a look at our week ahead, though, it's going to stay warm all the way into the end of the week, especially by Thursday and Friday, where we may even be talking about record warm temperatures, which is definitely a little bit too warm for this late into the fall semester.
Yeah, Nico, we're falling back, and don't worry, we're not falling back in love with that X. We don't want to talk about that X. We're falling back time-wise, okay? And thankfully it's the weekend because we haven't been able to talk much on this show. In case it's obvious, it's been a long week for all of us here at FSU Weather.
Yeah, we've had a lot of midterms. I know both of us had a midterm this afternoon. I also had physics this morning. That's never fun either. So.
Just hoping for that, like, C-, so at the end of the semester you can take that next level class, so
that's all I really need to pass.
That's all I really want. But thankfully it's the weekend. We've made it through another week. We've kind of been hot and cold all week, so now we're starting to get into a more settled pattern of warmer temperatures. It's kind of easier to pick out clothes in the morning knowing it's going to be warm and not super, like, all over the place.
Yeah, it'll definitely make things easier clothing-wise at least, but it's not going to make it easier if you don't like super hot weather heading into the fall. But now, if you want to follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/FSU Weather.
Facebook on facebook.com/FSU Weather. We're going to be also live on YouTube every night at youtube.com/FSU Weather.
And you can also follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather. Definitely send us any pictures that you want to send us. And now I'm going to send things off to Ryan to summarize and close out the show.
Yeah, one last look across the nation at our forecast. Future temperatures for tomorrow morning. Waking up to 50s in Tallahassee, 70s down in Miami. Across the East Coast, 30s to 40s. Up in the Midwest, 40s again down to 29 degrees in Minneapolis. 56 over in Seattle, 60s across California. Come daytime, we are going to warm up quite a bit, especially further to the south. 39 degrees so in Bismarck, 70 over in Albuquerque, 68 out west. And then we push our clocks back Sunday morning, so our icons are mostly on the dark side, but not that dark side. So 40s and 50s, waking up and out the door on Sunday. especially out east. And then we warm up nicely, 80s down in South Florida, 60s in Charlotte, 55 in Boston, and across the area. Great temperatures. And here in Tallahassee, look at that 7-day forecast. No rain, temperatures back to the 80s by Monday. Thanks for watching FSU.